we haven't even mentioned is good old knock. We love to see the knock ban. Teams hate the knock ban as a general whole, but it is quite a common ban regardless. So moving into the first set of bans here, coming into Villa, will be Riot starting us off, as they will be on the defensive side. And as I mentioned, there we go straight away, the Nook coming into play.
Yeah, just such a good operator to ban, especially like we talked about the fragging potential on this map. But an interesting sort of ban and a global utility operator off the board, so you don't really have to stand still. But, you know, Dokkaebi is available, and that is a pick that gets picked quite a lot. But Goyo to follow, and that definitely is a strong ban and a good player to get rid of for the defense. So no cheeky denial coming from them, but the last ban, Riot.
I mean, Goyo, as you normally see, he sets up his utility, all of his Goyo canisters all located around high traffic areas for a lot of the attacking operators. So you like to see him really removed out of that equation. And I can understand that ban coming through, but that does leave a few very interesting operators, and you can immediately see them picked up there. Hard, straight pickups coming from both Riot and NDE, the Solus coming into play, and the Dokkaebi coming into play on the second floor here, as we look to set up inside of Aviator. Now this is quite a common sight for ranked play, but in competitive, teams like to throw it around. They like to start off in Trophy, they like to go down to Kitchen, they don't really like to stay on one specific site, but they do like to sort of move it around, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it'll be interesting to see how NDE deal with that Solus. They do have the IQ, so they can locate where Rella is playing if he's using his ability. But these pre-placed drones, they're going to get shut down by Rella, and he's utilizing that ability rather well. Not setting up the site, but using his time to deny these pre-places. And he's almost got 3, but he's able to run away. But something that we're not seeing that is available, Valkyrie, which is very strong on this map as well. You know, having a lot of intel on a map like this where lurking can be huge. Not going to be played, but, you know, maybe we'll see her being played later on. But I do like that they're bringing that Jaeger Wamai, able to deny a lot of utility like you were talking about earlier.
Well, we can see the start from NDE. They're looking to push the extension play, able to spot out Rella on that Solus, who will fall back up to the top of red stairs and maybe in towards landing, as now we'll start to see a few drones coming in trying to identify player positions. Az is in the perfect position, just sitting towards the bottom of Astro stairs, as Kiwi will start making his entry. Happy Brown's Head going to back him up on that angle as well, so they're not going to really find too much here. May just decide to operate or change their playstyle from this downstairs corridor. Upstairs, we got Shiro in the perfect position to try and counteract any sort of push coming through this extension, but that's all this extension is. It's there to bleed time. Let the time go out as much as possible. Azaz with a huge kill onto Names, Dave.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you and Elijah, you're bullying people's names today. You're not, you know, I'm pretty sure that's Zero. Or Syro.
I always say his name.
But he is not shy in this engagement, but he does fall to Ted, and that's your Jaeger off the board. But, you know, Dokkaebi being off the board earlier, that's no more phone calls to go in. So I think that was a huge pick earlier on, but Tesla, he's able to hold this shield, and he does have the Womitis and the Jaeger ADSs to support him. So if he can just hold his position, sort of wait it out for them to burn this util, he can waste a lot of time, and his position will be more valuable than if he lost his life here. But he is looking to get aggressive. But Kiwi, going to get aggressive on this 90, but everyone's staying patient for now. But Tesla, bit of a step in his stride there, but nothing to connect just yet. He will do some damage to that Nomad, but nothing too deadly to come.
Now the interesting position of a Happy Brown Ted downstairs means that they can get these nades through if they can identify exactly where the player is. Nade's going to go out. It will find Tesla. And Tesla will be taken off the board as the pressure will be a little bit more alleviated. Names Aiden able to get the kill on Dorella, as Aziz will find 2, bringing it back to a 2-on-2. 15 seconds remaining on the board as they start to push down this 90 and on to main. One player is going to be set up in towards the side area. It's going to be Flex who's on the close, but they're able to get into the site. Aziz also sitting there. The diffuser is actually down. There's no time remaining. Quadra kill for Aziz. No time left. And NDE will not be able to pick up the first round as Riot will take control.
That is unfortunate for NDE. Aces just going too big there in the, in this first round. And he was able to find all 4. Obviously, the last one surviving, so he wasn't able to secure the ace. But a quad kill to start us off. He's feeling it today. And like I said, it is a frag-heavy map. If you're feeling yourself, you're going to get those round wins for your team. But, round 2, it's still early days. You can still, fight back and definitely get some plays of your own. So NDE, they did some really good stuff in that round. They definitely, I liked their push. They just weren't able to eliminate that shield position on that map table. And I think that was really what changed the round and swayed it into Riot's favor. So now we go to Trophy Statue. Things can be a little bit different, but they are running the mirror this time. So if you do go for that study across, you are going to be met by that. And it is banded as well. So they have to bring the right utility to deal with this.
But right now, we're starting to see a few switch-ups coming into play. Happy Brown Ted's going to make the switch onto the IQ, as Kiwi's going to be jumping on the Dokkaebi. And that's going to possibly cause a little bit of issues for Riot in this setup, as a basic sort of playstyle and a basic sort of operator lineup is what we're currently seeing, really, from Riot. 4 members from the side of NDE, all spawning out on the west side of the map. So they're going to need to try and see if they can find some sort of pressure, some sort of exposure towards the bottom of Astra at this stage. It doesn't look like they're really going to be going for that extension too hard. They'll spot out the mirror up in towards the good old master, and that's what we like to see. As Tesla now, he'll be in that perfect position upstairs. Name's Dave, slowly making the move. He's going to be pushing from downstairs, moving slowly upstairs, trying to identify if anyone is going to be on that first floor. Shiro? Am I saying it correctly? Maybe I'm not. Regardless, I'm trying my best. Regardless, the peek's going to come through, and he will immediately pull back. As now the one-on-one between Names Dave and Shy goes through. As Names Dave will be taken down, Shy's able to find the kill.
Yeah, he's not shy in that engagement, but it is Cyro to find the first pick onto Dave. And it looks like they're already in. They're in the side, but Ted is going to find Rella, but Rella did find Gospel, but Aces, he's going to snap back onto Aiden. We're down to a 2v4, but Ted, he's going to find his second in the round, and that's Aces down for the count, so 2v3, but he's panicking a little bit, so hopefully he can grasp it and find these later picks into this round as we approach the final minute of the round. But Kiwi, he's in Master, he's taking an engagement of his own, but Flux, he's going to win that one, but Tesla to shut down Ted, and it was a good play by NDE, but they weren't able to make it work.
Well, unfortunately, as you can see, Riot are looking well set up for this series so far. 2 rounds already in, and they have both of the rounds well in control. I think the play immediately to push towards the site, it was a good idea. You were able to try and spot out some of those angles. But then again, it depends on the positions of the opposite players. The players on defense obviously being the ones to cause a lot of issues in the way that they were pushing. Cyro, there we go. Being one of the main members downstairs in towards the kitchen, who was able to completely cut off any sort of rotational play. And yeah, it all really comes down to the way that they operate and the way that they make that push. And as we saw there, just wasn't good enough in that regard. Maybe pushing the extension next time will be the best way to go. But regardless, we're going downstairs into kitchen for the setup, and we'll look to see an extension all the way upstairs onto the second floor. Not far, but not too scary either, as it looks like Flux is going to be the only one up there at this stage.
Yeah, but he is denying a lot of angles and places to push with those castle barricades, so definitely going to come in handy and force the enemy team to clear it. But they do have the ace, they do have some nades, they can definitely get rid of those barriers if they'd like, but it looks like they are going for that master push, and they probably want to get that vert. You know, having that buck and sledge, they want to utilize that utility as much as they can, and it doesn't really look like there's any C4s coming out from Riot, so pushing above is definitely going to prove useful. They do have 2 impacts left on Cyro, but I think it's a good choice to push above. But Gospel going to open up the round, and he's going to shut down Cyro, so no intel going to be coming out from the Solus there, and your drones are going to be able to run around free of being spotted out. But Aces, he's going to return onto Kiwi, and that is your buck. So that is not a good play to lose. You still have that sledge, so not all is lost. You do have the breach charges from both IQ and Aiden on the ace, so I think that is good to run that. But you know, being that 4-4, it's anybody's game still. But a minute 50, plenty of time to do this vert and start pressuring these plays in sight.
Well, I mean, you look at the amount of soft breach that they've actually brought. 4 operators have soft breaching tools, which is pretty insane to bring on towards one site. I reckon maybe 1 doesn't really need to have that in retrospect. Regardless, however, it looks like the soft breach will start coming into play and being in handy for the use of the downstairs sort of area as the first kill. Make it a second, make it 2, as Gospel will be able to find one onto Tesla and Rella, opening up their push in towards the site. And this may not be the site that they were really looking to hold down properly, as we start to see Aces going to be dropped down, and immediately the playback is going to be made. Flux will be able to find one, get the down, not the confirmation of the kill. And now it all leads them down to the final player. It's going to be Names Aiden in perfect position, as Flux will be taken off the board, and NDE, they'll find their first round.
That was a good round from them, and a good top down. I think, you know, they lost that pick to that buck early, but they did pick it up and were able to find picks of their own, and they utilized that vert to get that as well. And I think, you know, Gospel, he went big on that IQ. He was able to find, I do believe, 3 in that round. So very good work from him. Not only getting those breach charges down and spotting things out with that IQ scanner, but securing those frags and those kills as well. So good start from NDE. They are still 1 round down though. But right, they're going to go back to this aviator games that they won in round 1. So we're going to see another adaptation come out from NDE if they want to win this round. And it looks like they're bringing a lot more burn to deal with these Jaeger and Walmitis. They're bringing that Zephyr, they're bringing that Ash. They have the flashes from Nomad, I would believe. So hopefully they can clear these shields and clear these positions from Riot Gaming. But there is 2 shields. They've got the shield of Alibi and the shield of the Smoke. So, you know, they've got a lot of work to put in if they want to clear it. But it depends on how they push.
Well, the problem child for the first round was the fact that they all pushed from the same direction. They knew exactly where they needed to push from, and they sent 3 players onto one side of the push. And as a result, when those 3 players actually got caught out on every single angle that they were trying to push inside of landing, they actually dropped diffuser, and it caused the other 2 to sort of panic in the last few seconds. So this round will definitely be sort of interesting to see how they look to push towards this site, as the extension will be set up in play. Cyro will be the perfect member to set right there, as well as Aces, able to try and slow down any sort of push on this angle. But when you have a Dokkaebi, you have to be careful. Immediately Names Dave able to find the first massive pick for the start of this round. And as I say that, Cyro will find another. Tesla will come in as well, able to find one onto a Happy Brown Ted. So the round looking all in NDE's favor at the beginning has just completely flipped. 4-3 and a minute and 45 seconds remaining on the board. They need to start pushing this landing. They need to start gaining a bit of this map control, but they seem to be struggling at this stage. One player is going to be down and set in 90. So I wonder how the next minute and 30 seconds is going to go out.
Yeah, Rella, he's trying to hold down this 90 position. I think pings are coming out for the defense on where these players are playing. Cyro is playing on these red stairs, so he is trying to take some engagement. Kiwi, he's going to shut down his position and find a nice kill and find the head of him, and that's your Jaeger off the board. So they still have a lot of operators with, you know, denial. They have the smoke with those canisters, but they don't have the C4 of Rella. So I think NDE, they need to start clearing this shield, but there we go. The C4 was pre-placed on that wharf doorway, so that's going to eliminate a player, and it's all left to Nomad and Sophia. They do have the util to clear this shield, though, so hopefully they can get rid of it and pressure that player that has fallen back into study. But now there's 2 players in study, but Rella able to find the head of Kiwi, and it's all left to Aiden in a 1v3, but he does down one. Can he find both of the other players still standing? They are going to pick up that 3rd player, so it's back to a 3v1.
Well, 3v1 situation, as you said, 20 seconds remaining on the board, and Aiden's going to immediately make the move towards 90. One player is going to be here. He needs to be careful. It is Flux. But with the good old Smoke SMG, he'll be able to easily find that kill. The FMJ9 as I know it, but it is obviously different in this version, this game. Regardless, 2nd floor trophy, 2nd floor statue will be the next site, as Riot decide that they want to not really spin anything up, just go through the sites as they have been doing so far. So no kitchen site's going to come through just yet, but when these 2 sites get locked out, they will evidently have to go back towards that main site. Regardless, though, 3 rounds on the board for Riot. That's exactly the standing that you want to be in at this stage. A 5-1 is the best that they can look for, and I'm sure that they will be trying to make it as quick as possible to get to that. Regardless, a huge amount of changes are coming into play, and there he is, that pesky operator, the operator we normally see banned in a lot of these situations. The Flores possibly being brought out by Kiwi there, which is going to be quite a bit of a threat to a lot of the utility that's being set down right now by good old Riot. Interestingly as well is Tesla jumping on to that Frost. So the Frost mats are going to be down in play inside a closet, but here comes NDE, and golly, do they look like a threat.
Yeah, having that Flores on the board is definitely going to be detrimental if they're not able to shut down those Runeterra drones, and he's going to be able to maybe clear that shield as well as those Banshees from the Melusi, but Ash going to utilize that breach charge and shut down Cyro. So Legion off the board, early frag to get, and definitely a good frag to get so early as well, and you know, it puts them in a comfortable position. They can now work a little bit slower to secure maybe some more picks, but I think this is what NDE do well. Their early round is really, really good, but their mid round is where they struggle with. Riot tends to snap back and find cheeky picks here and there, and so if NDE can deny that from happening, they can definitely find themselves another round here in round 5. But the drones are coming out, the Runeterra drones are coming out, they're ready to find that information and start to clear that utility from Riot, and I don't quite know if the shield's been gone already, but the nades will come from below to try and eliminate any positions, but no damage to be done. He still has 1 nade in pocket, but Sledge has already used all of his.
Well, we can start to see the setup coming in for the side of NDE as they're moving those drones through, as you said, just trying to gain a little bit of info. They do have players underneath, so they can start bringing in a little bit of vertical play to gain a little bit of info and remove a lot of utility if they do so deem it to be. Name's Dave. No more nades for him. As we can see, a lot of the utility has already been used. He'll spot out 1. Not going to really repress the angle if he can. On the opposite end, it will be Flux trying to cut off any sort of push coming through. That little shield still going to be in play, as I think they'll just try to get it removed now with the Ash charge. Regardless, Happy Brown Tev from below will find Flux's position, and that will alleviate the pressure on towards site. So now they can look to possibly make a push in, but Gospel, he's in the perfect position to try and counter Aces. It depends on his position, and it's going to be moved as Aiden will be able to find the kill onto Relos. That's going to release, once again, a lot of that side control. Gospel's back, and Kiwi will find it. NDE put a statement over to Riot Gaming, saying we can do it way better than you can. Flawless round for them.
Yeah, that is definitely a good round for them, and they'd be feeling good about that. You know, flawless round. That is a good position to be in going to this round 6. You can even up things if you've got the right momentum, you've got the right idea, and you can get that W. But, you know, right, they want to finish this half 4-2. They do go back to this trophy statue. They think that they can fix things up here, but they are changing a few things. They're bringing this mirror and they're opening up this triple wall this time. They had it fully closed, but now with that mirror, they want to open it up. But no, they're still running that Flores, and Mute is not being brought. So I think this is a bit of a misplay from Riot. I think they gained a lot with that Flores from the last round. They were able to clear those shields, and I think they cleared some Banshees as well. I don't quite know. We didn't really get to see too much of it, but with the way that it's positioned, you can definitely clear that for free, I'd say.
10 seconds remaining.
And with the current setup of both of these teams, what kind of scares me at the moment, KJ, is how coincidental or how significant some of the players on each teams are. Really. I mean, look at Azaz. 6 kills on his side, and Gospel and a Happy Brown Ted on the opposite end. 5 and 6 for both of those two. So if those two players go down, it just starts to say that there's a few issues that could end up happening. Regardless, we'll start to see the wall into pantry being opened up, so they're going to look to try and push out this player once again. It will be Cyro sitting downstairs looking to see if he can spot a player along the long direction. He's actually opened up a lot of this wall downstairs, or his teammates have, so he'll be able to spot any sorts of heads moving through, and using the shield perfectly will help him as Gospel will be taken off the board. Huge flick by the good old Cyro, as now the players will set for upstairs. Tesla with the mirror will be in perfect position to counteract, or at least identify the exact pressure that these teams are trying to push here. Kiwi's going to be playing on the outside, sending in those Roteo drones, trying to gain a little bit of info, as now another contender goes up against Cyro. It will be a Happy Brown Ted.
He does have 2 ADSs though in there, so if you chuck the nade in those lines of sight of those ADSs, the shield will remain safe. But I think if you throw it a little bit closer to that wall, you might be able to get that wall, that shield near the wall. But Ace, he's in closet already. He's trying to pre-fire this smoke on the triple wall, but Smoke's going to utilize those smoke canisters and try and smoke him out. But somehow, he's safe.
He's alive! Perfectly fine with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining on the board, as Aiden's going to take a little bit of damage. Once again, Cyro in the perfect position. Name's Dave is going to be taken off the board as well by Tesla, as now there are 2 members remaining. Flux knows the exact position of 1. Kiwi is going to be downstairs, as Aiden's able to pick up 1 onto Azaz, who's looking to get a little bit aggressive, maybe just too much. Maybe a little bit. Regardless, they'll start to make their way up the stairs now as if they push into landing. But I'm sure these players, they have to know that this push is going to come from this side, as Kiwi will be taken off the board. 4v1. Aiden, you have 30 seconds remaining on the board. It is a very rough ask. They can hear the barricade breaking. You can see all the members pushing round, and Riot will find the round, and therefore they are 4-2 as we go into the split.
I think Riot, they did really well to adapt to the way that NDE have been playing. You know, they know that they like to take below, and they playing that mirror, so they're like, they're probably going to take below, try and clear us on that mirror, and then push in from that. And I think placing that shield and dedicating that utility there was big, and they weren't quite able to do anything down there. So after that, they looked a little bit lost on what they wanted to do next, and unfortunately they ran out of time and the picks were bled. So going into this switch up, I think NDE, they might be a little bit more comfortable on this defense. 4-2 split, that's not a bad position to be in, especially on a frag heavy map like Villa. You get to have the comfortability of being able to play off that clock, play off the time, whereas Riot have to push into your angles and either, frag out, get rid of all those bodies, or, get that diffuser down. But for the most part, I don't think we actually saw a plant go down.
No, we didn't see a plant be successful, and that was really unfortunate for both of these two teams as a result, or should I say NDE really as a result. But now comes the starting ground. Now this is where we'll start to see a bit of switch up, a bit of a different play style coming into play, as Riot will now be on their aggression. They will now be on their attacking phase, and so they will have the ability to start making the push in here. And I don't think straight off the bat we're going to be seeing any sort of extension play. I think we're going to see a little bit of a normal sort of setup, a little bit of an identifier coming through with those drones, as Flux will be on the opposite end. But Gospel, he's pushing up. It was almost a problem child there, as Flux will slowly move back. Rella jumping in on the same side as well, as it looks like Cyro, he'll be downstairs trying to get a little bit of info, as one player will be set up on the main stairs. It's going to be a Happy Brown Ted. Perfect! Azes with a massive shot, as he's able to take down the player sitting on main. And this is a really good start for Riot.
Yeah, they utilized that buck to open up that wall, and Aces playing that long angle, and, Buck baiting for his teammates. So good use of, playing together and playing off of each other. I think that was really well played, and they're able to clear out a key position for the defense. But right now, we're in that stalemate. Everyone standing still, waiting for somebody to make the move. Dave in Books, Kiwi in 90, Aiden in Volt, and Allah on that skull, on that red stairs. But he's getting to get spotted out, but does some damage back to this Nomad. And he is trying to find the pick, but Ralla going to be the better one in that engagement, and he finds ahead of Gospel. So now a 3v5 for NDE. Not a good position to be in.
And this is looking really bad with the 65 seconds remaining on the board. They've got to start making some sort of play style. But at the same time, NDE bleeding from the amount of members that they have currently lost. And unfortunately, it's going to slowly start dwindling down, that they don't have the angles that they need to be watching here. We can start to see the wall being opened up on the left side of Aviator. His name's Dave. We'll be able to find one. That's Azes, or Azes, going to be taken off the board, as he will find a second. Rella going to be removed. Flux taking a little bit of damage as well. So what looked to be a problem child situation for NDE has completely switched on its head. Flux now trying to make a move in towards the site, will get spotted out by Aiden. Nitro will go through, will not find him, as they pick the angle. Tesla's going to get killed. Make that. Tesla's going to kill Flux, and it's all down to Tesla, as Shiro will get taken out, and Kiwi will confirm the kill. A misplay in the highest order from Riot Gaming cost them the round.
NDE, they definitely brought it back there. I think Dave was able to bring it back to that 3v3, and then they all just went nuky, and that's what you want to see on the defense, and that's what the sort of aggression we want to see from NDE, not allowing Riot to walk on them going onto that defense half. So NDE, they're looking good so far. Can they keep it up going into this next round? Round 8. Can they tie things up here and make this game a little bit more interesting? Or will Riot find their footing again and start to get closer to that W? But trophy statue to be of round 8, and they're bringing a similar sort of setup that we saw from Riot. They're bringing that Frost, but what we are seeing from the adaptation of NDE is that they're bringing that Mute. So if Flores is in play, they will be met by those Mute Jammers. So I do like that instead of the Bandit from NDE.
And I think the main thing to really take into consideration on this is how well Riot played that last round. They were able to get 2 picks pretty early into the round. Then it just seemingly stalemated, sorry. in that last few seconds, and it just costs them with that timer being left open and left out. But now we'll start to see the extension play making their move in towards the, well, indoors really, getting in towards the villa, as now they'll try and look for that player on the extension. If they can identify exactly who that player is, and I believe it's going to be named Dave, they'll be able to make that push in once they know exactly where he is. No player's going to be moving inside just yet as they try to drone through and identify the exact position that names Dave is in. Rella taking a lot of damage, health differential coming into play as he's able to find one. A Happy Brown, Ted's going to be removed off the board. Cyro is going to start making his way up main stairs as the drones will live drone him in. So they know the exact position now of Dave, and he needs to be careful. A player's already pushed all the way through. Nade to come through. Will not find the kill, but any sort of movement from Dave now could cost him. And he's going to play up on that shelf, which will keep him protected from the nades. But Rella able to find the kill.
Aces, he's going to find Dave in that vault, and very, very strong push from Riot, and definitely a snapback from the previous round. They want none of it. They want to secure this W, and they want to keep the lead, and it's all left to Gospel and Kiwi in a 2v5. Raleigh is low. He's utilizing these impacts to try and shut down this Osa, but Osa just being a pain and utilizing that bulletproof shield and just continuing to push. But Gospel, he's able to find the pick onto Aces. And now it's looking that little bit closer. Can Kiwi and Gospel hold it down here and win out this round, or are they going to fall? 1 minute left in the round, though. They still have time to work with.
Well, it all depends on how the next few seconds go. Kiwi will find a second opening pick, and this is exactly what NDE are looking for. They need these one-on-ones. If they can get those picks nice and easy, it's going to cause a little bit of issues for Riot. But now we'll start to see a few smokes coming into play. Kiwi knows that his aggression has to be met here. He needs to start making his push in. The diffuser will be put down. It's the first time in this series. One's going to be playing close, but Tesla will take out the other weapon, the secondary, as he'll be able to take down Gospel. And now it is down. Kiwi needs to play back and forth. He knows the position of the Osa, doesn't know the position of Cyro. Can start defusing, making the players have to move forward. Flux is not going to make a move. They are pretty sure that he is doing it, but look at that, the air jab! But it's... It was... The air jab went off, but it didn't knock back the Frost at the initial point. And as a result, the kills go back and forth, but it's finally ended by Cyro, as Riot Gaming will find their 5th round. But there is a lot more to search for here. 2 more rounds to look for them. 4 rounds for NDE.
Yeah, and I think Riot, they played it smart, utilizing that air jab to stop the defuse, but it knocked back his teammate as well. And then, you know, Frost was able to find 1 kill, but they did have the trade there. So luckily, we didn't see, you know, Kiwi winning that 1v2, because that would have been a kick in the gut for Riot. They did secure it, but it did look rather, you know, rough towards the end there. So I think now that they're 1 round away from that match point, NDE, you know, they did lose that last round, but it was very, very close. They did make it work, even though they were that 2v5. So I think, you know, going off that clutch potential, it is there. You just need to, you know, play your wits, play it smarter, and you'll be able to pick up these next few rounds. You know, only 2 rounds are between these 2 teams. So it's definitely doable. It's definitely a comeback can be in order. But they need to band together. They need to play off each other well. Because right now, Riot, they're playing off each other just that little bit better.
Well, as you can see, NDE, they have been doing really well so far in this game. They've been able to find the rounds that they need to sort of tighten up that scoreboard. But 2 rounds difference, as you always mention, or have mentioned, it's not that far. It's not that problematic. And now we'll start to see here's a little bit of an issue. there is no extension play. So they were maybe expecting a direct push in towards the site, maybe a push downstairs, as now we'll start to see Rella. He's already made the push up. He knows his position. He knows where to make the move in, as he will start to push through into Art Studio, and the rest of the members of Riot will start making their way somewhat upstairs into the main sort of aviator take. But a happy brown Ted, he's going to be sitting ready on the roam as the first kill will come through, and it will be the man that was killed first will find a secondary kill, and he will find it back on to Riot Gaming and on to Rella, as now names Aiden. He needs to possibly find a pick here. He'd love to find one, but he can just fall back from this situation, and Riot can start making their push up. It all depends on what happens in the next minute and 25 seconds.
Yeah, I think Ted finding that early pick instead of, you know, finding it on the receiving end and him being the early pick is huge for NDE. And if they can just play this man advantage, it definitely can work out for them. A C4 that doesn't quite reach Flux, and he's able to survive here. And he's just utilizing this bulletproof shield. It's just been such a pain for the side of NDE. But look at this. 2 players on bottom red ready to take this engagement. Legion's going to try and go up. He doesn't find the head of the Yana, but Aces secures it, and another kill onto Aiden as well. But Kiwi to return, and names Dave to find another. Jaeger, Ted, he's going to push up these red stairs, and he's going to find the Yana. It's all left to the Habana of Tesla in Master. The diffuser is placed down, though, near that landing door, so he's going to have to push in.
And what a huge round it has been so far. I think that Az's expected one player to make the push over, as now Tesla, he'll try to go into a 1v1 situation, try to secure it, as he'll be able to find the kill on the name's Dave. It's Tesla versus a Happy Brown Ted. Happy Brown Ted can make the fall all the way to the bottom, but he's already picked up the diffuser, and I think he's heard it. He's going to attempt the plant here, but fall away as soon as possible. Tesla going to go for the kill. Plant's going to be attempted, but it's immediately going to be shut down, as it looks like the timer is the problem child. NDE will find the round and move it ever closer to a tied up victory. But a big thing that you need to identify in that is when Azaz was looking on red stairs, he killed one player and immediately ran away. He only expected Gospel to be there, but Names Dave actually ended up coming with him and caused a bit of an upset being in that position.
Yeah, I think that's what I was talking about. Working off each other really well and playing off each other that little bit more, you're going to be able to find these round wins. And they did exactly that. And look what happened. They found their round in round 9, and now they're only that one round away. And this is the round to win. You don't want Riot to secure that match point. You want to continue this close game. And it looks like they're doing a pretty standard hold in this Aviator games. They're putting that map shield, and they're hoping to utilize that shield, but they don't have any denial for it, so it can be cleared by a nade or by a Gorn 6 or, you know, anything of the sort. But they do have that mirror. They're running the Valkyrie, though. They're going to be utilizing that intel that I was talking about earlier in this matchup that I wanted to see.
Well, the Nitro Cell going to be pre-placed for any attempt at the extension, but once again, look at Riot. They have set up 2 members on the southern side. 2 members make it 3 on the northeast and west sides. So they will look to make their push in towards this extension. Now that Nitro Cell, it's in the perfect position for any sort of push in towards landing. If they can get a player to try and make that move through there, they will probably lose 1 or 2 of themselves in that case. Regardless, though, it looks like most of the push is going to come straight towards the site. 2 members, Azaz and Shiro. Cyro, correction, sorry. Will be able to make the push in as Gospel. He'll find the first kill. Cyro is going to end up going down. That's going to be nice and easy for him, but there's a lot more to search for.
Yeah, and I think Gospel should play a little bit safer now. They are setting up those air jabs for the flank as they try and nade below, but Aiden, he's aware of that, and he doesn't want to get naded on that mirror, and Dave, he's playing in Vault as well, so nothing to come of that nade, but they've got pings, so maybe they've got a drone in sight pinging that for his team. And I think for NDE, they need to sort of find where the positioning of that drone is, otherwise it could be detrimental later on. And Rella, he's being detrimental right now and destroying Gospel on those main stairs, but he's almost destroyed himself as he gets shot from that vert. But he's going to push up those main stairs rather safely right now, and he is going to be followed by his teammates. So they have taken this crucial position of this book's top main angle, and now they're droning out, but they're getting spotted out by these Velt cams, but they're shutting them down as well. But as we approach this last minute into the round, it's all or nothing for NDE. This is the round to win. It's a 4v4. They need to shut down this steady push from them. All four of Riot are pushing from this side.
Well, with the health differential, it's definitely going to be a tough one to run down the clock on. 45 seconds remaining on the board as a Happy Brown Ted tries to go for a spawn peak angle, but will not find anything just yet. As we start to see Rella, he's okay to give away his life. Kiwi will confirm it from the 90 hallway. 30 seconds remaining on the board. They can't really get a plant in here just yet. Tesla able to find a counter pick, and that's a big one. As well will find Kiwi as we start to run it through here. Happy Brown Ted's going to be dropped down. Flex is going to be able to remove one, but Tesla will find the final kill. And that will be match point round, Riot Gaming.
I did not think that NDE were gonna lose their lives like that. Unfortunately, Riot were just able to find their picks where necessary, and they were just exposing themselves too much. I think if NDE just hid that little bit extra, waited for that plan to go down, then that's when they could have exploded, because, you know, one less gun on the board. One person's got to plant that bomb, and that is one less player to be gun up and ready to take those engagements. So, bit of a misplay from NDE, but, you know, this it's not all over yet. Riot Gaming have secured that match point, but NDE can crawl it back. They win these next two rounds, we'll go into that juicy overtime, and we'll see a closer game. But right now, Riot Gaming are looking rather confident, rather strong. But NDE, they're confident that they can fix things up here in the Aviator games. They're confident that they can win this round and keep us going. But Riot Gaming, I'd imagine they want to end it here and now. They don't want any further contestation from NDE. And they were bringing the Flores. And that would have been great to clear those shields. But they have opted to bring the Dokkaebi instead. And I think that might be an issue. They are running that Jaeger this time to help with those shields, and they have two of them this time. They have the Frost Shield and Echo, who we haven't seen being played on this map just yet. So that'll be interesting to see if they can deny that plant that I believe was going to go down from that OSA.
Well, the push will start to come through here onto the extension set up inside of the good old trophy. As we'll start to see a bit of movement, making a play, pre-fire through the wall, able to find one onto Rella, but once again, that is not the biggest pick that you can find. Azaz able to find one, Kiwi's able to find a counter pick onto Azaz, and now it will be a 3v4. Syro is going to start making his move through with the Dokkaebi, so he's still got two calls left. They can definitely identify exact positions of the play, well, the exact positions really of the enemies at this stage, but with one player sitting down in 90, it's going to be a little bit of a tough push here, and Flux coming through with the shield will identify that immediately.
Well, I think once again, when NDE play off each other, they're just able to find those picks and be in that advantage. You know, Ted did lose his life, but Kiwi was able to find the refrag where necessary, and it definitely has proved useful. Riot has slowed their push down, but they have taken this 90 position. They do have the shield in this bar hole, so that is good for the Dokkaebi. He's going to EMP it, and he's going to EMP the vault so that they can start to open that. But Gospel holding down this position, not letting anyone push through here, but vault is open, so they can't rotate through there. But Gospel able to find a pick onto Syro, and now it's a 2v4. I think if NDE don't overheat here, they definitely can secure this round in the bag for the team, but they got to be careful that they don't gift any lives to Riot. They can definitely make it work. They are both full HP.
But in saying that, Gospel's going to cut it off nice and easy. Flux will be immediately removed as Tesla will make his way into sight, but Kiwi's there on the counter push as he's able to pick it up nice and easily. And NDE etching ever closer to a possible OT, and this is not something that we really saw in the initial playstyle, but now we're going to Trophy. It's the one of the sites that hasn't been fully locked down yet, and Riot have showed that they can shut it down in one round, but in another they've shown that they struggle making a push on towards this site. So it all depends on the way that they decide to really make this push, really make that pressure feel necessary for the side of NDE. But with the current setup and with the current playstyle, NDE just looking absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, you know, like I mentioned earlier, NDE had a rough season last season. I don't think they were quite able to pick up a dub, and, you know, the games were rather rough for them, but they are looking a lot better. They are playing off each other a lot more, and that's what you want to see. And I think it's looking good for them. They may not win this matchup, but it still is possible for them, and even if they do lose, it's a valiant effort. What a game they have put in so far. But Riot, they've put in just the same amount of effort, and they're looking good as well. And I'd imagine on this trophy statue attack, they want to shut it all down here and now. Bringing that Monty is definitely going to help with that. No OSA this time, but the full shield to deal with this roam clear. And I'd imagine Flux wants to really get in the face of NDE.
Well, Flux absolutely loves this Montaigne. He loves playing around with it as much as he possibly can. And as much as I say that, we have seen Flux not be as... He's been a pest as OSA in a large regard for this match, but he hasn't actually been able to change the rounds too significantly in his playstyle. There was that one round that they got the diffuser down, but it still wasn't as significant as he wanted it to be. Now, Flux obviously coming in with the Montaigne. It's a bit of a different playstyle, different sort of setup, so we should expect that different sort of play coming in from him in all those regards. Flux actually going to miss drone a happy brown Ted there, but the rest of his team will come to back him up soon. Holy Gospel with a massive shot onto the man, the top fragger for Riot at this stage, and you can immediately see the nice shots being given out.
Yeah, and that's one of the nade operators off the board. So, you know, the Yana, you get free intel off that hologram as well. So, definitely a good operator to remove and good player. But you still have the nades of Rella. He's able to clear that concrete shield. And, you know, Riot's got the shield of their own. And he's trying to push in and try and get this plant down on this landing door, I'd imagine. But they are being met by these Wamai discs as they try and secure this air jab to stop anyone pushing through that door. But they do have the smoke canisters, which is wasting and ticking the time down all that much further. But Ted, he's waiting for this execute to go down so he can go up these stairs. But Tesla, he's able to find the pick onto the frost. So I think that is from that master balcony. That is not a good person to lose. You still want to maintain that master control. But right now, everyone's just waiting. Rella expecting a flank from this Jaeger, and it looks like Ted, he's going to start to push up. But Ted, he's going to win that engagement, and he's going to just sort of fall back. He doesn't want to risk his life any further. Being in that man advantage, he wants to keep it and try and go into this overtime as it's 30 seconds left on the clock. Tiaki, is NDE going to make it work?
Well, Riot Gaming definitely with their current setup are a bit of a threat here. If they can get Cyro to pick up this diffuser, they can look at starting to get a plant down, and it will be successfully started here. Happy round Ted and Gospel are going to look to rotate on the backside, and there we go. The backside's going to be started. Shiro's able to find one, needs to find the second. The diffuser is going to be put down. Two members still remain, and one impact nade. A direct impact nade could cause it all here, but Gospel with a triple kill will find the kill, and NDE with all their backs against the wall will make it work and move into OT.
We're going to overtime, and, you know, that 2 rounds separated NDE whilst Riot was on that match point, and look, they made it work, and they're definitely showing up here, and this is a different sort of NDE. They're putting up a fight, and they are not letting Riot win it just yet. But Riot, they're looking so good, but NDE just finding the little cracks in their attack. And unfortunately for them, they got to go through another round of attack on this overtime. So if NDE are able to win another defense here, they're going to have that round advantage going on to that second round of the overtime. But only a possibility of 3 rounds here in the overtime, so you don't have as much to work with. But we get to see some more siege action, Tiaki, and see these two teams battle it out for this W. And I honestly don't know who's going to win it at this point.
Well, in the current sort of setup and the current play style that has been provided by these two teams, Riot definitely being a little bit of a threat there. They almost got that diffuser secured and planted. Unfortunately, Cyro getting immediately removed off the board almost as soon as he can find 1 kill straight off the bat. Regardless, though, we'll start to see once again Flux believes that this shield operator is going to help him out. The Montaigne being brought into play, and no one is really going to be jumping onto this 90. They're going to leave it all prepped and all set for nothing. They're just going to set up their site for a good sort of push, and that's exactly what you want to set up. You don't really want to play around waiting, and if they're all going to push the same angle, yes, you can set up something, set an extension, but if it hasn't worked, change up the playstyle, change up the setting, change everything else up about the way that you've been playing, and immediately you can see it there. My concern is that man right there, a happy brown Ted. He has been able to flank Riot Gaming almost every single round. It's like they do not identify that this man is visible. He's just not. And that could be the downfall for Riot. It depends on the next minute and 45 though.
Yeah, and I like that castle setup. They're able to block off that wolf door, so unless they clear that, they're going to be able to swing that for the plant there on that door. So they've got the vert on it as well for Ted if they choose to plant close there. So they're going to have to go deep if they want to get that plant down. And if they go deep, then it's going to be even easier to stop the plant from going down. So the time is ticking. The halfway mark has passed, but Gospel once again opening up the round and shutting down Ralla, and once again, a nade operator off the board very, very early. But Gospel, he's playing a little bit aggressive. Maybe he should play a little bit safer as the time is ticking. They are that man advantage. You don't want to bleed that pick. Cyro getting ready to pop those flashes, but Tesla popping flashes of his own and getting kills of his own as he's able to shut down the smoke of Aiden, and the plant's going to go down. They're going to stop. They're going to be careful of what's happening here, but C4 to go out from Ted, and a bit of a premature C4 there, and it doesn't do any damage, unfortunately. But Flux is taking damage from below. He's going to have to push deep, but Cyro going to get a kill of his own. Kiwi going to find 2. And it's all left to Cyro and Aces. There's 30 seconds left on the clock.
Well, the most interesting thing is that one player is upstairs, one player is downstairs, so now they can start pushing in towards the side here, trying to find the advantage. But there's name's Dave. He's able to take out one onto Cyro, my apologies, as he keeps making the move through, needs to find this kill, then start pushing back towards the site. But name's Dave predicts it perfectly, makes the peek when it's necessary, and it's able to easily find the kill there. NDE go into OT match point, and we just can't stop going into OTs this evening, it feels like.
Yeah, we had a OT last game, and the games tonight are so good, and all these teams are putting up a fight and giving us a show. And you know, whoever wins this matchup right here right now, either way, the result, you got to give yourself a pat on the back for going out and stretching out this game as far as it has and constantly going back and forth. But right now, NDE, they're on the train. They're on the train of W's of rounds, and they're ready to continue that train all the way to the W. But do they have enough fuel in the tank, or are they gonna fall short? That is the question. 7-6 though, and we go to that Aviator Games for Riot. They're confident. They've won this site pretty well. for the most part. So I think NDE, they got to change things up here. They got to sort of switch up their plays to deal with the defense of Riot. But I'm excited, Tiaki.
Yeah, well, it all depends on the playstyle coming down in the next 3 minutes. If NDE can really secure those first sort of picks, find the 2 rounds that they were able to find in the last half that they were able to operate in. If they were able to find anything that they could in those last 2 rounds, they'll need to find it here. But no players are going to be downstairs as they look to try and make possibly a bit of a push downstairs as well as upstairs. All depends on that play style, really. A Happy Brown Ted's going to be in the perfect position there. But Cyro, he's going to be the first one that they come up against, as well as Aces. It all depends on the next second. The push will come through. Kiwi is going to be removed immediately, and that is the call. Fall back, everyone. Tesla, you can stay there. Try and see if you can find something, as the damage will be dealt. Happy Brown Ted on 1 HP, and as far as we've seen it with this back and forth round, with this back and forth play set, Riot Gaming should be able to win this round, and NDE, they'll go on to defense, which they should win.
Yeah, it seems like both teams, once again, we saw it on Bank, both teams were just comfortable on the defense. And once again, it reigns true on Villa for these 2 new teams as well. Like I said, you have the comfortability of being able to play around that clock, but this is a frag-heavy map, and both teams just like to frag out on the defense and swing those angles, get those picks, and it's looking good for Riot Gaming to tie things up here, but there's still plenty of time for NDE to find those picks back. But Gospel, he's going to take some damage. And, you know, NDE, they're not looking good in terms of the HP. Ted on that 1 HP. Gospel on about 10. But look at Riot. They're not, you know, they're peppered up a little bit as well. So it all depends on who can hit their shots going into this last minute.
Well, here we go. The push is going to start to come through. Gospel feeling his health there, being very cautious with the way that he's going to make the push. Cyro will be able to find 2 as he's able to kill Aiden and Gospel. Name's Dave, able to find the kill counteraction. He'll be able to get that trade, that easy pickup as they start to push into 90. But you've got the player with no HP and the player with full HP for the side of NDE. 30 seconds remaining on the board. They need to start making this push up. No diffuser is going to be in hand. So right now, NDE seemingly struggling in terms of their ability to make this push here. Dave will be well set in the 90 hallway. Needs to find an angle, but I don't think he can find anything. 10 seconds remaining. It's like they're just running out of time. Name's Dave will be taken down. It's all down to the man with 1 HP. He's got 4 members to fight. Won't even find the first, as Riot will put it into max OT. And this should be an NDE round, but it may not be, as Riot get the momentum back in their stride.
Once again, it's who can break the, you know, the curse. Whether NDE remains, you know, victorious on the defense, or if Riot is going to change things up, break the curse, and win it on the attack. And it's really anybody's game. Like, the score, you know, suggests that, but being on that defense, you would imagine it would be, but judging from what this game goes, it really depends on who finds that opening pick by the looks of it. So if NDE find that opening pick, it should translate into this round win, and they're going to go to the Aviator game site. They are confident that they can win it over the kitchen site. So they're bringing that Capcom though. So if Riot Gaming aren't aware of these traps positions and they don't drone it out, they could find themselves taking that damage, or even falling victim, going down, or even being out for the count and dying to them as well. So they're going to be careful. But from what we've seen, Aiden is placing those traps down below because they like to push this study and, you know, art side. So I think if they do that again, they're going to be met by these Capcom traps. They're going to be careful. But what we're seeing from Riot, they're not bringing that sledge. They don't want to run the double nades. Instead, they want to bring back that Osa, and they want to bring the Buck back. So I wonder if they're going to do that cheeky angle again, Tiaki.
Well, the question is, how efficient has Flux really been throughout this match? With the use of the OSA as a general whole, he's been a pest in some areas, but on the overall like extension of the whole round, he hasn't really been that oppressive with that OSA. But now we'll start to see Rella moving on the opposite side. Aiden can just move to the perfect position, waiting for this jump in. Looks like the drones aren't there. He'll just jump in and die. He doesn't drone all the way through, and that costs him his life as a result. And now already Riot, they're going to be down one member. Aces will start to make his move in towards the art studio, but needs to realize that Gospel's up above. No drones will identify the exact position of that member. Now they will possibly, as the drone will come through from Flux, I believe that is, but it's not going to be identifiable just yet. And immediately they'll spot him out. So now they know that one player is going to be set up there, and that's going to be Gospel brought down. So we're back to a 4-on-4.
Yeah, and obviously that opening pick that NDE got was shortly, taken away. 4v4. But I did mention earlier, usually the opening pick resulted in the round win for both these teams. But it's really anybody's game again. But Flux, he spots out one onto Aiden, but Aiden's able to trade back some damage, but not enough as Flux secures that pick. And they're all up on this top main area. And I wonder how NDE are going to shut this down. It looks like one's trying to pick this bar hall. But can they deny these entries and this plant that's going to go down very, very shortly from Riot? 45 seconds to do so, though. Can Riot work their way into the site and get things down? Or are they going to just explode and a kill frenzy happen?
Well, we can start to see, as long as you're on NDE, you're happy with the roster that you have right now in a 4v3 situation. Flux is going to be the first one brought down. That will be a Happy Brown Ted to find the kill. And you've still got Dave. He's just sitting in sight. He's chilling perfectly fine. Nitro Cell still available for him. Kiwi's going to be able to find the shot onto Shiro or Cyro. No. As the Frostmat will find one. Nitro Cell will go through. NDE will win the series.
NDE, despite being the underdogs of this matchup and not expecting to do too well, they go all the way to overtime and they take the dub on max OT. And we didn't mention it, but Elijah believed in the boys and the boys provided for him. So, wow.